F.E.A.R. wasn't just another shooter, it was a seismic shift in the FPS genre, with revolutionary AI and cinematic slow motion gunfights, wrapped up with an unnerving story and atmosphere. Though the game made you feel like you star in your own action movie, it always found a way to get under your skin. It redefined what a first-person horror shooter could be. It proved that action and horror could coexist, and it showed the potential the genre had. F.E.A.R. left an everlasting legacy, until it was all ruined.
You ever seen a hippopotamus fight? They start crapping and wagging their tails really fast and shit just flies everywhere. It's fucking insane.
I showed him as well, like, I said to him, Rav, like, you fucked it up, like, you fucked up my hairline.
F.E.A.R. 2 is a game where nothing happens. You shoot dumb AI for about 8 hours in the worst level design I have ever seen. They also had a reliance on gore and shock value rather than building tension through atmospheric horror. Like seriously, there's a segment where you had to button mash to blow someone's head off. Wow. What is this game? What happened to F.E.A.R, man? Right click, right click, right click.
Y'all investing in the wrong roof.
It also didn't move the story forward at all and just regurgitates everything we learned from the previous game. Even at its best, F.E.A.R 2 felt like a mind-numbing shooter. It came off as generic and uninspired. F.E.A.R 3 was... fuck off. I'm not uttering a word about that dumpster fire. But that isn't what this video is about. We are going to be talking about one of F.E.A.R's expansions, Extraction Point. A DLC that continued the story of F.E.A.R, and if I had to describe this in one word, it would be peak. Extraction Point is a mastercrafted ending to the Point Man's story as well as Alma's. It ties up loose ends whilst providing some clues to some of the mysteries the game had. However, the story of this DLC may be confusing to some. There are no answering machines or laptops that will provide the player with context, so a lot of it is up for interpretation.
Don't let them hurt me.
And oh boy, we are going to be diving deep into that. As for the gameplay, Extraction Point perfects the formula F.E.A.R crafted, and honestly, it's actually quite hard.
What the Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me.
So just like before, I will be elaborating on all of these points throughout the video. Oh yeah, for important context, I suggest watching my previous video. F.E.A.R ended with a catastrophic explosion destroying the whole of the Auburn district, and we were left with a cliffhanger.
What was that sound?
Extraction Point picks up right off where it left it. For an unknown reason, our evac chopper once again crashed. The Point Man seriously can't catch a break. Since we're cut off from Jin and Holiday, we have to make our way through this ruin that is collapsing due to the crash. Either this building is very old, or the Black Hawk was secretly a tactical nuke. Making our way outside, there is one thing you will quickly notice. Wow, the game has colour now. F.E.A.R's colour palette was rather bleak, which made some environments feel visually monotonous. Timegate Studios thought, you know what, add some RGB in that shit. Oh yeah, one important thing to note, this DLC wasn't made by the original devs. It was licensed to Timegate, and honestly, they did a fantastic job with this one. Can't say the same for Perseus Mandate however. They dropped the ball with that one, but at least they learned a lot. The environments in Extraction Point are a lot more alive, as its colour palette was extended and the level design has a lot more variety this time around. The main game consisted of a harbour, a dull office, Auburn, and finally the vault. They all felt similar simply because of the colours used. We will be fighting through train stations, armour can, a hospital, and an old crypt. There's so much more variety this time around, and each section nails the level design to a T, which results in this game becoming quite the challenge. And if you watched my previous video, you will know exactly why. But more on this later. Reaching the streets of Fairpoint, we rendezvous with Jin and Holiday. Slight problem though. There's a fence between us, one that the point man can't climb. I get there's barbed wire on the top, but come on man, he's been through worse. Due to F.E.A.R being dead, the replicas remain dormant, but there's one thing Holiday can't wrap his finger around. Where is everyone?
For starters, this city is empty.
Must have been a radioactive element to the origin explosion and the city was evacuated.
Cities don't empty this quick.
Engine limitations maybe? Possibly. Or maybe the spook house shit is responsible. If you hang around for a bit, Jin will have some extra dialogue for us, and she believes Alma has done something terrible to the people of Fairpoint.
It's Alma. It's got to be Alma.
The ghost kid?
She's a lot more than that. We're in a lot of trouble. Ghosts don't create temporal and spatial anomalies.
Looks like our girl's got a new hobby then.
She refuses to believe that she's creating some sort of anomaly that's preventing us from seeing others. Honestly, I have no game theory about this one. My guess is that they wanted a vague explanation as to why, but it's obviously to do with engine limitations. Besides, I've seen those running and walking animations. I don't want to see over 100 people moving like that. Entering the church. Wait, hold on. F.E.A.R is alive?
Somehow Paxton F.E.A.R returned.
I know it doesn't make sense. Not much does anymore. You killed me. I didn't like that.
Now, you may think this is a cop-out, but bringing back F.E.A.R this way makes a lot of sense. He's now able to command the replicas again and is back to being the bad guy. Nonetheless, I do have an explanation for you. With everything we learned about Alma, I'm sure you can piece together what exactly is happening here. F.E.A.R is not actually alive, it's just a ghost. The reason why he's able to command the replicas again is because they all have part of F.E.A.R's subconscious built into them, essentially becoming an extension of him. Even though F.E.A.R is desynchronized with his physical body, he still carries his telepathic abilities, just like how Alma still had her powers when she was a ghost herself. In the game's intro, we can see her standing over his body, implying that she was the one who brought his spirit into the world. The reason why the point man can see and even hear him is because they both have a natural telepathic link, which is why he was able to talk to him during the events in the main game. Right now, F.E.A.R is projecting himself through hallucinations, and even in some cases, physically manifests himself. Now that the replicas have reawakened, they're now back to rocking my shit. There was no... Explain it to me. The more times you die in this expansion, the quicker you will realise that something feels very different about the replicas. They're a lot more aggressive and overall more accurate with their shots. It's like the AI were coded differently for this DLC, but that isn't the case. Later on, I will explain why the replicas feel a lot stronger in Extraction Point. Their AI is exactly the same, but their behaviour feels a lot more personal. Like every single one of them want you fucking dead. And as something I like to say a lot in my videos, more on this later.
Why are you fucking with me?
As soon as we deal with F.E.A.R's little show, the world begins to shift and any form of rational thoughts get thrown out the window. Alma now has the ability to alter reality. She opens a path for us, almost like she's trying to lure us into a trap, or maybe she's helping us to escape. This hole leads into the crypt of the church. Replica forces are swarming everywhere, but that's the least of our worries. A new kind of monster manifests. It attacks everything in sight, which is odd. This monster is obviously a manifestation of Alma's nightmares or hatred, but what this encounter tells us is that Alma has no control of her monsters. Her pain and suffering is being projected. In a way, she's kinda like Alessa from Silent Hill. Both of them were psychics and were taken advantage of. Their nightmares were then projected, manifesting all kinds of creatures that they had no control of. Did Monolith copy someone's homework perhaps? Well, there is one key difference between them. Alessa isn't evil. Alma on the other hand is pretty fucking evil. Now, it isn't clear whether or not Alma is controlling these monsters. If that was the case, then why is she attacking F.E.A.R's men? I think she's never had this much power before, and is struggling to control it. Before she was placed inside the vault, she never showed these kind of powers before. She was only able to make people have nightmares and not manifest them. Even though she was dead inside the pod, she still suffered with her own nightmares, and basically lived a lifetime inside them. And as soon as Harlan set her free, he also unleashed her nightmares. Deeper inside the crypt, the point man begins to hallucinate. Opening this door pulls us into an empty void with an unusual light at the end. All of her monsters completely ignore you and rush towards it. It ends abruptly with no explanation, but it's obvious Alma is trying to tell the point man something. Right above us, we enter another office. Yay! Jokes aside, this segment is incredibly short, and it's actually one of my favourite parts in Extraction Point. It's extremely close quarters and the replicas are very violent. The particles go into full effect in this area as it reacts to every gunshot fired, and it looks amazing. Armacan headquarters was sort of similar, but not on this scale. In fact, it feels like the environmental destruction in this DLC was cranked up. As badass as this segment is, it's actually pretty linear compared to the previous levels, which makes the AI incredibly aggressive. Some will rush you with shotguns, while others may wait to ambush you. It sets up an interesting dynamic that some players may not be ready for, but if you kill the majority of a squad, the survivors just end up camping behind doors.
Excuse me, what the actual fuck are you doing in my house?
Reaching the end, we encounter something very unexpected.
Don't let them hurt me.
Alma is asking the point man for help. She wants protection from them, but it's unclear who she's talking about. Could it be Armacan, the monsters, or is she talking about F.E.A.R and the replicas? This expansion has a very unique twist with its story, and it is one that doesn't explain itself at all. It's mainly up to the player to figure out Alma's intentions and what exactly is going on in general, because directly after this encounter, F.E.A.R and Alma then try to kill the point man. Alma's physical self appears and honestly has a pretty lousy attempt at killing us. The reason she still has this hatred towards the point man is because she feels betrayed by him. His sole purpose was to destroy not only F.E.A.R but also the Origin project. Now, it is safe to presume that the point man had no idea this was his real mission because he had no history, meaning his memories were wiped by Armacan. We don't even know if he has a personality. He could be engineered to react, not think. For all we know, he doesn't think for himself and only acts under orders given to him by Armacan. In a way, he isn't all that much different from a replica. We escape the church and continue on with this mission, which is something I forgot to mention. Your only goal in this expansion is to reach the extraction point, hence the name. Holiday was able to get in contact with a different Delta squad and they said they're heading to the hospital for extraction. However, they've all gone dark and we are all that's left. The only thing we can hope for is this extraction point being real. But there's a slight change of plans. The replicas have managed to capture Jin, and it's up to us to rescue her. So we must fight our way through this warehouse to meet Holiday on the other side. This segment can be pretty brutal, as this area is more close quarters action mixed with arena-like areas. The replicas also continue to be ruthless, even deploying the elites to finish you off. It's like their new sole purpose now is to do anything that means necessary to kill you. More headcanon incoming. I like to think the reason the AI feel more brutal in this expansion is because they all share the same hatred as F.E.A.R for the point man. Not only that, we are basically the only threat left in their way. They have control of the city and are continuing their brutal crusade against humanity. But if we were able to stop them once, they have no doubt we can do it again. In between the action, there are these moments that just raise even more questions. At one point, F.E.A.R continues to be a dickhead and traps us inside one of the warehouses. That's until we witness Alma help us once again. So why the hell was she trying to kill us just moments ago? Further along the way, we get some sort of hint. We can find a phone, and don't worry, this isn't more lore dump. It's instead a message left for us.
I'm waiting for you.
Alma wants us alive. Whatever for is unknown, as her intentions are still up in the air. Maybe she wasn't trying to kill us earlier, but was instead trying to push us in a certain direction. But why are we still seeing Alma's spirit, even though she's resynchronized with her physical self? There's not much to go on right now, so let's move on. It's here where we have the most bizarre encounter in this game.
What the hell's happening?
We can actually find a survivor, and oh my lord, look at those graphics. For some reason, the game allows us to do this.
How about a magic trick? I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. Ta-da! It's gone.
Either someone at Target Studios forgot to make this lad friendly,
One but damn, I mean.
or this is their way of showing us that the Point Man is really no different from F.E.A.R and the replicas. No, but seriously, I tried to think of a game theory as to why they allowed us to do this, but really, I just think they forgot to make him unkillable.
What the hell's happening?
Jin manages to get into contact with us, and somehow she was able to get away. Ah yes, the replica masterminds somehow allowed a lab geek to escape. Holiday even wonders how himself, and she just responds with this.
How'd you get away?
I'm not Alice Wade.
Now that's just cold.
She starts heading towards the extraction point alone since she's pretty close to it. Once we've linked up with Holiday, a pretty interesting segment happens. We actually get the chance to fight alongside him. But before we get to that, I must talk about the worst section in this whole DLC. Everything F.E.A.R has taught us up to this point in the game gets completely thrown out the window. Usually, the levels are designed in a way where you won't necessarily feel trapped, as it gives you multiple options of maneuver around the replicas. Along with that, they never overwhelm you with enemies since their squads are basically limited to 8. This flow is one we learnt and we always know what to expect. Also, those odds are pretty fair, but Target were like, nah, fuck that. Let's instead throw the player into an arena that might as well be shipment from Call of Duty, and let's spawn in 4 replica squads that enter the arena from 4 different locations, all at the same time. Not only this, let's give them 0 chance of escape. Instead, they will have to survive for about 5 minutes to progress. What's that? That's not fair? Okay then, have these small turrets that you can glue on the wall, but make them do next to no damage. What makes this whole thing even worse is that if you die, you will have to start from the beginning. That's if you don't quick save, of course. It's pretty risky to do, and you might even softlock yourself.
What the fuck, bro? What the fuck is with?
Yeah, screw this part. Eventually, Holiday shows up and saves the day. This is where he becomes our partner, which is a unique segment that gives us the opportunity to have someone watching the flank. Kind of. Horror has a pretty big part here too, but Holiday just makes these encounters more funny than scary.
Weren't you supposed to kill him?
Uh-oh. You go ahead. I've got your back. Yeah.
During the events in the main game, it was clear that the Point Man was really the only person who was actually witnessing the paranormal. But now Alma is free, everyone can see them.
You see him too, don't you?
Clearly, the scares aren't getting to him. Maybe he really should have been a part of F.E.A.R after all. We enter this huge construction site where a large group of replicas are waiting for us. And you would think Holiday will help you out here. But I turned around and saw him run away while shooting his gun like a madman. After that, I didn't see him until the fighting was all over. Even worse, my flank was completely exposed and he wasn't there to back me up. And he's meant to be the specialist here. Later on, we do have to split up for a moment and cover him from the tower, which is a pretty cool sniper segment. But the replica's AI only really works when the player is involved. So this part was pretty awkward to watch, because the replicas turned into absolute morons. Holiday goes back to what he's actually good at, and that's unnecessary blowing shit up. Inside, we make a gruesome discovery.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Some of these people killed each other.
It's in the next room we encounter the things responsible.
Not good. Find Jin.
The death of Holiday really sets the tone of this expansion. We are all that's left now. Since the beginning, this whole thing has felt kind of hopeless. With Vettel back, he's making it his mission to get revenge. Combined with Alma's nightmares killing everything in their way, it sends a message. You are fucked. We don't even know if this extraction point is even real. We've been cut off from the outside world and been left to fend for ourselves. The only thing we can do now is keep heading towards the hospital, where we will find Jin, who is all by herself right now. Timegate really wanted to traumatize people, huh?
He needs some milk!
The only way to get to the hospital from here is through the train station. We learned from Jin earlier that the replicas are using this as a hub to get soldiers around the city. It's probably the last place anyone would want to go to, because it's obviously going to be crawling with them. To get there, we must quickly head through this armor cam facility. It's a pretty uneventful place to be honest, but we do run into a new replica variant. It's basically a reskinned elite that carries one of the new weapons introduced from Percy's mandate. It's a laser rifle and it's incredibly overpowered. Shame the ammo is very limited though. We also meet the assassins down here again. There's really not much else to say about this area, but I will say the layout was pretty fun to fight in.
Help me.
Once again, Alma is asking the point man for help. She's posing no threat whatsoever, but that's until reality is again warped around us. It places us back into the void Alma was stuck in, and before we know it, it's over. I wish she would just make her mind up already. Like, do you want our help or what, Kerr? It can be pretty frustrating having no idea what the hell she wants, and why she seems to be toying with us. Everything will be answered eventually, but to tease you just a little bit, I will say one thing. Alma here wasn't responsible for this. Outside the train station entrance, you will notice a crashed US Army plane. You actually catch a glimpse of it right at the beginning of the game, and this is a nod to Perseus' mandate. In that expansion, you play a sergeant in a different F.E.A.R squad, and they get dropped into the city from this very plane. It's a pretty cool way to link both stories because they both play out around the same timeline. Shame Perseus' mandate kinda blows though. For a place that's meant to be a replica hub, it's strangely quiet. That's until the silence is suddenly broken by a soldier.
Sector 4 secure, the target is on its way.
Yeah, this place isn't a transport hub no more. It's now a killing zone. Whoa! What even killed me though? Whoa! No man, oh my god. We are currently being funneled through the train station and are being forced to go through multiple ambush points. Even at one point, they put you up against two elites paired with two armoured units, who are equipped with rocket launchers. To say this part was frustrating would be an understatement. There is a reason, however, why they are guarding this platform in particular. The tunnel connects to the main area of the station, and it's the section that leads to the hospital. There's no other way around, but someone shows us a different path. Alma calls to us from the vent. She wants to show us the way out. Nah, not really. She actually leads us into her own spooky trap. What's funny though, is that you aren't actually in real danger. You start hallucinating inside and it appears there's no way out. What's worse is that there's something chasing you. In reality, it's nothing. As anxiety inducing as it is, it's more of a prank than anything. Upon leaving the vent, however, we find out exactly why Alma gave the point man hallucinations. In a surprising twist, Alma wipes out an entire replica elite squad to protect us. It turns out, the replicas wanted us to go into the vents because they were intending to ambush us at the end. Alma delayed us from this fate by temporarily placing the point man in a hallucination, so that she would have enough time to kill them all. And it doesn't stop there. Once we've gained access to the train tracks, we discover the replicas setting up an ambush for us, one we probably wouldn't survive. So it's a good thing Alma is on our side.
You're safe now.
But now, I think it's a good time to explain what the hell is going on. The Alma we are frequently seeing is a separate entity. Alma's psyche is so fractured from all the torment that it manifested two spirits. Her child form is often protected of the point man, most likely showing sympathy for him as it's her only family left. She's acting as a guardian angel.
You're safe now.
Whereas the adult form of Alma is out to kill everyone who's done her wrong. She embodies Alma's rage and suffering. These two entities act independently. They have their own goals and desires. Right now, the Alma who is protecting us needs our help. While she guides us, she will do anything within her power to stop us from being harmed. This storyline adds so much depth to Alma's character, and it's something I love about Extraction Point. The idea that her psyche projects different entities is so intriguing. It's the kind of plot you would see in a sequel, not whatever the hell that was in F.E.A.R 2. With Alma by our side, we head into the underbelly of the train station. Nothing really interesting happens down here except for one thing. As we get deeper, we eventually have another vision.
He's here. F.E.A.R.
Jin is confronted by F.E.A.R, but he says to her that he won't harm her.
I'm not going to do anything to you, Ms. Kwan.
But he can't speak for his mother. This is the interesting part. Instead of Alma appearing, we see Jankowski.
Jankowski.
I tasted the good lieutenant's visions, and they were most revealing.
Okay, there are two very crucial things we learned here. The first one being Jankowski's fate. F.E.A.R captured and interrogated him. Every victim he questioned were eventually killed, and F.E.A.R would always eat a part of their flesh. This is because he is fucking crazy. He believes if he eats part of them, he will gain their knowledge. We don't know whether or not this is true, but Jankowski's fate might be a hint. F.E.A.R ate his eyes and claimed they were most revealing. This may be the moment F.E.A.R and Alma learn the point man's identity, because after this, Jankowski's ghost tried to communicate with him.
She's afraid of me.
But hold that thought. We learn something very interesting here about this mystery, and I will explain in a second. From the main game, we learned the point man was able to see into Alma's memories. That means we have no idea when this moment took place. For all we know, it just happened or this was a while ago. Jin's fate right now is unknown. Okay, let's finally talk about Jankowski's ghost.
You don't know anymore.
Previously, the ghosts we saw were really just a point man looking into Alma's memories. Everyone we saw were F.E.A.R's victims, and every time we heard them speak, it was only echoes from that interrogation. But Jankowski is different. Every time he appears, he says something personal to the point man. He would mention Alma to him and the fact he doesn't know his true identity. Now it's time to reveal the truth about these moments. This is not Jankowski talking to you. It never was. It's actually Alma. Since Alma is able to cause people to hallucinate, she's practically able to make them see anything, right? Well, this is sort of different. I think this is Alma in disguise. Once they learned the point man's true identity, I think Alma used Jankowski's body as a way to get closer to him. That way she can communicate. First, she started off by telling the point man that she's afraid of him, probably due to the fact she knew who he truly was but didn't know if he was out to kill her or what. Inside Alma Can, he appears twice. The last time we encountered him was in the Auburn district, and he tells the point man this.
She's close now. Her presence is strong here.
I think Alma used Jankowski's body as a way to get closer to the point man without scaring him and a way to get his attention. If she just appeared as her normal self, she wouldn't know how he would react. But if he sees someone familiar, he may stop to listen. Now everything I just said is all a theory of mine. Jankowski's fate has never truly been answered. All we know was that he was killed by F.E.A.R. I do think my theory is pretty solid though, but if you have anything else to add, comment down below. As we press on, we receive some good and bad news. The good news is that Jin is still alive and she's made it to the hospital. The bad news is that everyone else who made it are fucking dead.
Oh god, they're dead. They're all dead.
It just keeps getting worse, doesn't it? She's also alone there now. Whatever killed them all is probably still lurking around. She's in incredible danger, so it's very important we make it there. Reaching the next platform, we discover the replicas are rigging the entire place with explosives.
What the fuck?
This is a last-ditch effort to kill us. All of their ambush points didn't work, so they're resorting to extreme methods to stop us. Further on, we run into something really fucking bizarre.
It's locked, dumbass. Oh, hi. I, didn't know it was you. Listen, you owe me. You wouldn't have gotten out of Origin without me. You know that, right?
Somehow, Norton is alive?
You using the grenade launcher? No, wait, I want the plasma rifle.
Honestly, this is just a meme Timegate added. It is really odd and he does open the door for us to progress, but I really think this is just a joke they added since later on you can find him again as an Easter egg.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah, there's nothing to analyse here. I hate this guy.
Ooh.
Goodbye.
The replicas blow the entire place up, but we manage to make it out in the nick of time. This sends us into a recycled section. We end up inside a car park that is literally the same one from the main game, but reversed. This place sucks. At the end, they put you up against not one, but two mechs from Perseus Mandate. Alright, moving on. As we're about to leave the train station for good, F.E.A.R has something to say to us.
You still don't know, do you? What you are. Why you're here.
You will be a god among men.
F.E.A.R is reminding the point man who he is, who he truly is. He's a god among men. I think the reason why F.E.A.R is saying this is because he thinks the point man should start embracing it. Why fight for humanity when they controlled him, used him as a weapon to bury their sins? F.E.A.R isn't just getting revenge on the point man, but for humanity as a whole. Vettel believes he's a god, and he thinks the point man should believe he is one too.
Why run? You cannot escape something you have been part of since before you were born.
As we're about to enter the final segment of the game, we get a distressing message from Jin.
You're not coming, are you? I'm going to die here alone. I don't want to die with them.
She's lost all hope, and can you blame her? She has been by herself this entire time, surrounded by replicas and nightmares with no human connection. She has been contacting the point man, but let's be real, he's not exactly the talkative type, so she probably assumes he's dead. This moment is so small yet impactful. It sets the tone for this final segment, and it sets the stakes high. The side of the hospital we enter is still under construction, so we're still quite not there yet. Nonetheless, the replicas are still here to greet us. This part is very vertical. We have to fight our way up to the bridge that connects to the finished part of the hospital, where the real finale happens. There's not much to say about this part, as it's pretty short but fun regardless. It's filled with tough replica variants, and it's a sweet opportunity to tool up your loadout with stronger weapons. The further we climb, the more safe it becomes. But that brief moment of relief is suddenly broken by Alma. In an easy to miss moment, you will catch a glimpse of Alma standing on the other side of a door, and she urges us to hurry.
Hurry.
Either something is catching up with us, or to someone else. That person obviously being Jin. With very little time to waste, we head straight up to the final floor. This is where we enter some sort of trance. One where Vettel has a message for us.
Soon you will have a choice to make. You are near the time when you will have to stop running.
This one bit of dialogue sets the stage for this game's finale. Now isn't the time to dive into this bit of text because it's more fitting if I talk about it at the end. That way I can lay out the real meaning behind it. During this nightmare, we can see the very monsters that tore Holiday apart. You also catch a glimpse of Jin with the goofiest running animation I've ever seen. Stepping into the light brings us back to reality, but the nightmare continues. Following the trail of blood, we stumble upon Jin's lifeless body. Vettel murdered her the moment we stepped into the hospital, and in a mocking way, left her own camera taking pictures of her own crime scene. This moment just fills you with dread. Nothing could have been done to prevent this, yet we still feel responsible. With no one truly left but us, we press on into the unknown. The hospital is my favourite part in F.E.A.R. It's atmospheric, action-packed, and is filled with horror. The level design here actually plays it safe compared to the last locations we visited, simply because I think they wanted something more familiar for this game's conclusion. And I think that was the right call because this ending has some really tough opponents. We're talking replica elites, armoured and riot units, assassins, and of course monsters. It has it all. The objective now is to locate the life flight elevator to presumably reach the rooftop, but we quickly learn there's one other reason why we're here. After destroying the first replica squad, we find an elevator shaft filled with monsters descending down the walls, like they're being called by something. Naturally, we follow them, because why not, just why not? This brings us down to a floor that is pretty cursed. We see the same kind of monsters along with a hallucination. This place looks incredibly old and resembles some sort of prison. Whatever this was, it's clear something wants to show us something. Further in the wing, we start to see a large concentration of these monsters. It's like that light we saw in the void. These nightmares seem to be attracted by this hospital, and I think it's obvious as to why. Alma's other spirit is here. We watch her head down into the deepest part of the hospital, and we follow her, because this may be the place where she's waiting for us. And of course, the elevator gets destroyed. Well, ain't this a lovely waiting spot? Definitely doesn't send any bad signals. Oh yeah, that and the morgue sign. As we're climbing through the vents, we see our guardian angel. Both of Alma's spirits are down here, and after briefly exploring, we find out why. She traps us inside a void once again, falling for what feels like forever. But this is different. We are taken to an older version of the hospital. This isn't a hallucination this time. Alma has taken us to the deepest part of her soul, her own personal hell. It's here where we will find the soul she has trapped. Bill Moody, Charles Haberger, Ian Hives, Alice Wade, and the man who was behind it all, Harlan Wade. But what bothers me is the fact she's trapped Bill Moody and Alice Wade. These two had no involvement with Project Origin. They were only part of the investigation into the Auburn district. Either this is blind rage from Alma, or she's just out to torment anyone under Armor can. But at the end, there's an empty cell. Entering it causes the door to lock behind us. We see Alma outside it, watching as the walls close around us. She intends to trap us here forever, but in the end, she doesn't go through with it. She can't kill us. Deep down, she doesn't want to. At the end of this hall though, we unravel the reason why we're here. Approaching us, we see both versions of Alma shifting between each other. Then, that very light we saw in the void appears. They walk into it and then vanish. We take a look around and we see that all the blood is gone. In fact, this entire floor is completely clean now. The music in the background just fills you with hope. It feels like you may have a chance to escape. But before we do, what exactly happened here? The two versions of Alma were conflicted with each other. The young version of Alma cared for us and she wanted us to survive. She saw us as family. Whereas this version of Alma was filled with pure hatred towards everyone and wanted us dead because she probably thought that we betrayed her. She couldn't let go of what happened to her. She wanted everyone involved dead, including you. So what happened here? Even though F.E.A.R is still on a rampage, killing everyone on sight, this isn't exactly what Alma wanted. She only wanted revenge on the people that were involved with Project Origin. As you can see in the cells, she's already done this. She got her revenge, but there was one person left, and that was you. She clinged onto that hatred, and it prevented her from finding peace. However, she learned that the Point Man had no other choice. He was never in control of his actions. Alma's psyche was conflicted on what to do. The young version of Alma represents her love for him, and the older version represents her hate. But in the end, she doesn't want to kill us. This is where they resolve their conflict and synchronize their psyches. By doing this, she could finally find peace. They were separate, and now they're one. Once Alma has finally rested, the illusions around us disappear. Even better, with Alma gone, Rodney is now able to communicate with us.
He's alive. I just picked up his signal. If you can hear me, get to high ground. A chopper is standing by.
And it turns out, the extraction point is real. We must reach the rooftop as soon as possible, so we take the elevator and make that final stretch.
You should know better by now.
But obviously, it wasn't going to be that easy. F.E.A.R is at the top waiting for us. This will be our final fight. It's not only a fight for survival, but it's also a fight for his identity. After a tough battle, the chopper arrives. We won. We have finally made it. But the point man suddenly gets a reality check. He was never going to make it. He lost this battle the moment the truth was revealed to him. His whole life has been a lie. Vettel has one final speech for the point man, one I think he knew was coming.
They tried to bury their sins, but instead planted the seeds of their doom. But she would not be forgotten. We will make them remember. They will die. All of them.
Vettel is offering the point man a purpose. Embrace what he truly is, a god among men. Join him so that they can avenge Alma together. But the question is, what other choice does he have? Without Alma, he serves no purpose. He's a weapon with no will, designed to react, not to think. The point man had his identity stripped the moment he was made. Just like Vettel and Alma, he was also a prisoner of Alma, the only difference being their freedom. Vettel may be dead, but he reclaimed his life before it was ended. But even after death, he's free. The point man isn't. If this mission was successful, his memories would have most likely been wiped again, leading to an endless cycle of control. Vettel gives him a choice. Either keep running from his past, or reclaim his life. Obviously, by joining him, it would imply the point man is evil, but honestly, we don't know where he stands morally. I would guess he doesn't know the difference between right or wrong, because he's been engineered to obey. This is how the game ends. Whether or not he joins Vettel is really up for the player to decide. Will he embrace what he truly is? Will he continue to run? Or did he die on that rooftop? In a game like F.E.A.R, there are no heroes. It's just soldiers following orders against an army like no one has ever seen before. How else could have this ended? The good guys didn't win in this story.
Sorry to wake you, Senator. It's about Origin. There was an uprising. Vettel has taken command of the prototypes.
This wacko's name is Paxton Vettel. He's the key. Property of Armacam Technology Corporation.
I've seen it in my dreams. Fire sweeping over the earth, bodies in the streets, cities turned to dust. Retaliation. You've seen her, haven't you? Her name is Alma. She is the original. I was made from her, and I was born from her. We are separate, but we are one. She is a prisoner, floating in darkness, like the unborn in the womb. You still don't know, do you? What you are. Why you're here. What's the first thing you remember? What's your given name? Where were you born? You have no history. You and I were born from the same mother. You must have sensed it. She cannot see in your mind, but perhaps you can see into hers. A life of waking from one nightmare, only to find herself deep in another.
There are plausible scientific explanations for everything that followed, but I think it was really just a question of hatred. It is the way of men to make monsters, and it is the nature of monsters to destroy their makers.
Yeah, not quite. So here's the issue, right? Extraction Point isn't canon. And that should be obvious since F.E.A.R 2 and 3 unfortunately exist. So I ask myself, What was the point in this expansion if it wasn't going to be canon? I will say this, Timegate Studios gave Alma a better ending than the original developers could, and that's embarrassing. I'm not going to get into that right now because that's another topic for a different video, and that's only if I feel like covering F.E.A.R 2. Extraction Point, in my opinion, is the true ending to F.E.A.R. It nailed the gameplay, the atmosphere, and especially the story. I urge everyone to play it. I was going to include a rant segment about F.E.A.R 2, but I'm going to save that for another time. I want to thank everyone for helping me reach 10k subs. That may not be a huge milestone for some, but for me, it means a lot. If you like this type of content, then stick around, I'm not stopping anytime soon. Thanks for watching and take care.